A couple of weeks ago, my sister, April Moncrief, wanted me to put my thoughts on camera. And at the time, enough hadn't happened, I don't think, in today's society that warranted a video. But the other day, I was watching the thousands of people converge on Selma in honor of the 50-year history of Bloody Sunday, for all the civil rights movement that kicked off in Selma. That recently has been a hot year for it. They made a movie about it. A lot of people gave a whole lot of critically acclaimed, and of course on Sunday, 50 years to the date that now we're remembering the Selma to Montgomery March, which in effect on that day was Bloody Sunday. Millions of people were beaten and beaten back and attacked, and and so they brought in a lot of people from all over the parts of the country to commemorate it. President Obama came in, a lot of our leaders came in and talked and delivered, I'm sure, a whole lot of inspiring messages. I'm sure they did that. But as I sat and watched it on TV, um, I guess because me being a former resident of Perry County and knowing that area very, very well, I had a lot of mixed feelings. I had a lot of mixed feelings because I just want to know that after Sunday, we did 50 years of commemorating, and people are raising questions about um, changing the name of Edmund Pettus Bridge and making a big deal about that, and that name has stood for years. And I understand who Edmund Pettus was, but while we're focusing on the name of a bridge, and we just remembered 50 years of what happened 50 years ago to a lot of our people, a lot of sacrifices they made. I woke up that Monday morning and I was thinking, and all I could see was those people on the bridge gathering, those thousands of people that people were like, hey, I wonder what they could do now in stopping us now. And my answer is this. Um, Anybody watching it, whether you were for the march or against it or don't understand it, looking at it, there's nothing for you to do. You can remember it, you can learn more about it, you can embrace it or not. But my question is, what are we going to do about the next 50 hours? In the last 50 hours, I've seen a video posted by a fraternity who I could care less about. That fraternity, no matter what they were singing, will never ever affect me, has not affected me or my family or anything I've ever done or ever accomplished in my life. But it's gone viral. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, people, like, just because they sung it, a lot of people thinking like that, they just got caught. What I don't understand is, like, why do we give those videos energy? Why do we give the hatred part when it comes to race more energy than the part that we always talk about, that it should be love and equality? We do not ever give the energy where it deserves to go when it comes to racism. In the last 50 hours, I saw another kid in Wisconsin shot, and another cop who might be on paid administrative leave, and people are in an uproar about that. In the last 50 hours, I've seen a quarterback for a major college get jumped in Panama City, and it wasn't white people who jumped him, it was his own. In the last 50 hours, are all those people who just rolled back from Selma, who are now back in their office talking about they went, they saw, they were there, they were a part of it, are any of those people or any of those leaders going to invest in the city of Selma? Are you? Is anybody going to be in this fight? Are those people in Selma, who I'm sure made a lot of money off a lot of those dinners and fundraisers, are any of you guys, any of you, going to just, hey, look, pat ourselves on the back? We got a bunch of leaders to come into our city, pat ourselves on the back. But are y'all really going to sit back and make a change in the next 50 hours, or the 50 hours after that, or the 50 hours after that? For those of you that live in the area, we know as part of the Black Belt, is anybody going to come in and invest in those communities at all around that Black Belt area to help enhance the education, the politics, the promotion, or anything like that of those people? Or was it just a strong march and then 50 years later, some people be dead and gone and we'll be facing some of the same issues, barring the fact this country is still here. I normally don't sit and rant and post and everything, but I'm sitting here saying, great to commemorate what they did 50 years ago, but I'm like, man, what are we going to do in the next 50 hours? Will you still be negative, bitter? We still sit there and blame people time and time again after our mistakes. Because I'm sitting here, we got a site called WorldStar, and every time I see somebody who like they stricken or in poverty, dang, they got enough money to have a goddamn cell phone. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe people sit there and say, man, I don't know the struggle. But hell, man, I just know, man, we just gotta work. I got several partners, man, and they know who they are. I got several partners in Mobile, partners that live in Nashville, partners here in Atlanta. I'm like, man, we never had to run in the cops when we were younger. And if we did, man, we knew how to act and respond. And everybody talks about Alabama. I'll tell you one thing. I will not deny there are a lot of things that Alabama may face. But man, I don't see cats getting shot with their hands up by Alabama cops. And I'd rather have a snake that's going to rattle and let me know it's a snake than one that's going to crawl in the bed with me and bite me. So again, I tell you, yeah, we just remember what happened 50 years ago. But what are we going to do for the next 50 hours? What are we going to do? I die to get back in the fight for anybody who thinks like to think that I don't care, don't get it, man. I desire to be in this fight to help my people every day. Every day. I'm asking myself in the next 50 hours, are there NFL and NBA players, man, you guys make millions of dollars, and what's your money gonna be spent on? You're gonna talk about how many hoes you got, how many cars you finna buy. It's like Tupac said, something is wrong with this, man. Some people got 2 and 3 and 4 houses and stuff, and some people can't even make it. In the next 50 hours, are our very own people sitting here looking at people who are underprivileged, whether it be black or white, saying, I got mine, you better get yours. On the other hand, in the next 50 hours are the people who we know ain't gonna lift a finger to do nothing for themselves. Are y'all gonna ever get it? Are you gonna ever get it? Because nothing is just not given to you. In the next 50 hours, will there ever be a change at some of the major high schools? And what I mean by that, will there be a coach who should be the head coach, but he's always passed over? He's just got to accept that assistant job time and time again because of the color of his skin. Whether it be black or Latino, I see you go. I've traveled this country abroad watching football at all levels, and I see that Latinos or anybody, all of them are just as passionate as we are. May have more knowledge of the game as anybody else, but will they ever be the head of a major university? Does it have to be in the next 50 hours or the 50 hours after that? But maybe one day. I wonder if years from now that this video I pose, will there anybody of a minority descent ever be the head coach of Alabama, Michigan, USC, Notre Dame, and so on? And Notre Dame has had their one, and we know, and a lot of people are still salty about that. But hey, the way I look at it, evidently maybe tied and do the necessary things to get it done. Because the bottom line, you gotta win. And for a minute, he didn't win. But just looking beyond football, looking beyond our people, on the next 50 hours, are we gonna be more concerned with what the heck Kim Kardashian, her child, or what her husband say or wear for the next 50 hours? Are we gonna be more concerned every time Beyonce puts out a new album for the next 50 hours than we are trying to teach our child to speak the correct language? I just got back from out of country in Amsterdam, and it's amazing that there's people over there who speak our language better than we do. And before you get all up in here, it's like, oh man, that's not our language. Yeah, right now, while you're an American, what you're being taught in school, that is your language. I'm not talking slang. I'm not talking slang. I'm talking for people who cannot speak good King English. King's English. And so from here on, every child that I run across, I'm not gonna let that be an excuse. If you want to speak slang, that's fine. Speak the lingo. But man, when you are talking, and we as parents, we as people, need to teach our kids, man, when you are having a conversation, to do your best to use the best English that you can use. That's it. That's the bottom line. So for the next 50 hours, like, what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do in the next 50 hours after that? Or better yet, in the next few hours, by next Sunday, that 50th anniversary will be forgotten. People talk about how we had Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, all these great leaders that came to Selma for a day or a couple of days. And after that, Selma's right back to their same old, same old. School systems back into their same old, same old. Around the world, we're back to the same old, same old. We're still posting videos of people jumping on each other. 50 hours, we're still talking about kids getting bullied to the point of suicide. And that's going to get more airplay than the kid who's done everything right, going to school, doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm asking you, like, for the next 50 hours, what are you going to do? They're going to look at it and say, man, this guy's tripping. He's just on a rant and he don't get it. Or you're going to try to trust in the fact, like, man, we ain't got long. We lost a great man the other week, and I'm talking about Reverend Townsend. I mean, the guy was great. And I mean, I just saw the guy a couple of months ago. And there's no way in the world I would have thought that this guy would no longer be here on this planet. This man was great. So I'm saying, if Reverend Townsend can be called home, what difference does it make you? How come you can't? And unfortunately, some of you will probably be glad to be called home. But in the meantime, man, you ought to want your next 50 hours to mean something. You want to have something. You ought to tell these young ladies, hey, you more than just your ass shaking and stuff on a video. You more than how many likes and stuff you get on Facebook. You more than some woman talking about you trying to take your man. So I'm asking you, what are we going to do? Black, white, or whatever, watching this. What are we going to do for the next 50 hours? You going to make a commitment? Or you going to say, hey, man, you know what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Harper? I'm going to smoke this blunt. Good speech. And if that's what you're gonna do, that's fine, man. That's fine. Go ahead and waste away. But man, get it out of the way, dog. All I'm telling you, anybody for the next 50 hours, man, if you ain't part of the norm or part of the solution, man, just stay out of the way and just don't be part of the problem. Don't force your ignorance on these young ones. Don't give no energy to a fraternity who said, nigga, y'all better wake up, man. Because that fraternity ain't stopping nobody. It ain't stopping you. I really know I know the letters. I know I kind of heard them, but man, that fraternity never stopped me or my best friends and none of us from being successful. Heck, I'll even give them credit like, man, at least y'all telling yourselves how y'all feel. Other people only want to talk about the elephant in the room. You don't even want to do it. So I'm asking you, my time is up. I'm asking you for the next 50 hours and the 50 hours after that, what are you going to do? You going to just give energy to it? You continue to like complain? Or we're going to make it a point that we're going to be better? I would love to see in the next 3 to 4 years that I see a change in Selma or a change in the way things are done in anywhere in society. But I would love to challenge Selma and see if I'm gonna see if it change. If anything, if anybody will recommit and benefit and invest in that community. Something tells me probably won't, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. So with that being said, I know what I'm gonna do with my next 50 hours. I'm gonna continue to get back in this fight, regardless of what's been given to me, regardless of what's going to be given to me. I'm not gonna stop helping others. I'm not gonna stop liking one race because of another. I'm gonna always be fair and partial to anybody as much as I can. Not ignorant to the fact that it's not out there, but I'm not gonna let some fraternity, some police shooting, or anything like that stop me from getting to know people. Period. It's not. So that's what I'm gonna do for the next 50 hours. One love.